City of Ashes is an upcoming post-apocalyptic third-person isometric fighting game developed by Battlefields. The game focuses on intense melee combat with some use of improvised weapons. The storyline follows Chris, a former MMA fighter who embarks on a dangerous journey to rescue his kidnapped daughter Charlotte from a gang of cannibals in a decaying urban environment.
Good night, asshole. Back soon, I promise.
Rise and shine, princess. You'll be the main course of this.
Dune Awakening is an open-world survival MMO set in the vast desert landscape of Arrakis. Developed by Funcom, the game lets players explore the dangerous world of Dune, where survival depends on mastering the desert's challenges, including sandstorms, water scarcity, and sandworms. Players will engage in combat, resource gathering, crafting, and political intrigue, striving to dominate the planet and control the valuable spice. Anno 117 Pax Romana is the next major entry in the long-running Anno strategy series by Ubisoft. Set in the Roman Empire during the year 117 AD, the game introduces players to the role of a Roman governor managing vast multicultural territories. Players will engage in classic city-building gameplay combined with economic simulations, diplomacy, and military strategy.
Shall be lined with abundance. Our field shall yield bountiful harvests, and our coffers shall overflow with wealth. An era of prosperity dawns upon us, heralded by the arrival of a new governor!
You can take it from here.
Wuchang Fallen Feathers is an upcoming Souls-like action RPG developed by Lindsay Games and published by 505 Games. Set in the late Ming Dynasty, the game is filled with supernatural elements and historical influences. Players will explore the land of Shu, battling monstrous enemies and uncovering the truth behind a mysterious disease that transforms people into feathered beings. The combat system is inspired by other difficult action games in the genre, offering deep character progression and weapon customization.
I should know.
Dinos Reborn is an open-world first-person survival game set in a prehistoric sci-fi world. Players find themselves stranded on a dangerous planet overrun by dinosaurs and must navigate between being the hunter and the hunted. The game features a blend of exploration, crafting, and survival mechanics. You'll need to gather resources, build tools and shelters, and fend off dinosaurs and other threats to survive. Mouse is an upcoming first-person shooter inspired by 1930s rubber hose animation, drawing comparisons to the visual style of classic cartoons like Mickey Mouse and Cuphead. The game combines gritty noir elements with action-packed gameplay, placing players in the shoes of a private investigator in a corrupt city overrun with crime. The unique art style, combined with a variety of weapons like Tommy guns and explosives, adds a fun twist to the traditional shooter genre. Lost Soul Aside is an action RPG developed by Ultai Zero Games and heavily inspired by titles like Final Fantasy and Devil May Cry. The game features fast-paced combat, stunning visuals, and an epic fantasy storyline centered on Khazur, a warrior who becomes fused with a symbiotic entity called Arena. Set in a world ravaged by war and invaded by mysterious monsters, Khazur embarks on a journey not to save the world, but to find personal redemption and survival. Killing Floor 3 is an upcoming co-op first-person shooter set in the year 2091, where players join the rebel group Nightfall to fight against a horde of bioengineered monstrosities known as Zeds. These creatures are created by the sinister mega-corporation Horzine, and the game's objective is to survive waves of Zeds while building up your skills and arsenal. The gameplay includes a mix of fast-paced combat, enhanced graphics, and new features like electrified mines, combat drones, and heavy weaponry such as revolving shotguns and flamethrowers. Mixtape is an upcoming adventure game developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur, the team behind The Artful Escape, and published by Annapurna Interactive. Set to the soundtrack of the 1980s and 1990s, it follows three high school friends embarking on one final adventure before graduation. The game is deeply inspired by the coming-of-age genre, featuring activities such as skateboarding, sneaking out, and partying, all while the characters relive their formative memories. Chernobylite. To Exclusion Zone is a sequel to the 2021 survival horror RPG Chernobylite. Developed by the Farm 51, the game is set once again in the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone. Players take on the role of a planewalker, exploring an open world filled with mutated creatures and various factions. The game will feature enhanced base-building mechanics, team management, and cooperative missions. Players can switch between different character builds on the fly using a system called planewalking, offering flexibility in combat situations. Spine is a cyberpunk-themed action game featuring intense gun-fu combat, blending shooting and melee in a fast-paced cinematic style. You play as Redline, a street artist with a sentient combat implant who fights against an oppressive AI regime in a futuristic world. The game emphasizes fluid combat and parkour, drawing inspiration from action movies.
No elevator this time?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a first-person action-adventure game developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda. Set in 1937, the game takes place between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones must uncover the secrets of an ancient power known as the Great Circle while facing off against sinister forces around the globe. Players can expect a mix of exploration, puzzles, and iconic whip-based combat, with less emphasis on gunplay to stay true to Indy's character.
They will. If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the globe, you'd get a perfectly aligned circle.
The Great Circle.
Exactly.
I intercepted the Morse code coming from the Himalayas.
Where Voss is sending all of his men.
Is that a...
Battleship? Yep. Let's get a closer look.
Gotta find the stone and get off this ship.
What's that in his hands?
What does it say?
Earth something. What was that?
We'd better hide. Ciao.
Judas is a first-person narrative-driven shooter developed by Ghost Story Games, led by BioShock creator Ken Levine. Set aboard a crumbling starship, players assume the role of Judas, a mysterious and troubled figure whose survival depends on forming or breaking alliances with her enemies. The gameplay combines weapon-based combat with unique powers, reminiscent of BioShock. The story revolves around making critical choices, with the outcomes affecting both the narrative and interactions with other characters. Hellden is an upcoming action JRPG developed by Artisan Studios, known for its hand-painted 3D art style and dynamic lighting effects. Set on the planet Era, the game follows two brothers, Seifel and Leet, as they embark on a journey of self-discovery in a world where individuals are bound to the 7 deadly sins through a ritual. The game offers a blend of action, combat, and strategy, allowing players to customize their characters and engage in fast-paced battles with a unique, visually stunning presentation. Sid Meier's Civilization VII is the highly anticipated next installment in the iconic strategy game series. Players will guide their civilization through the ages, making critical choices that shape the development of their empire. For the first time, leaders can be selected independently from civilizations, allowing for more strategic combinations and unique gameplay experiences. Little Nightmares 3 is the next installment in the horror puzzle platformer series, developed by Supermassive Games. The story follows two new characters, Lo and Alone, as they journey through the eerie and twisted world of the Spiral, trying to escape the horrors within. Unlike the previous games, Little Nightmares 3 introduces an online co-op feature where two players can work together to solve puzzles and survive terrifying encounters. GreedFall 2. The Dying World is an upcoming action RPG and a prequel to the first GreedFall game. Set 3 years before the events of the original, the story follows a native of Tyr Frady who is forcibly taken to the war-torn continent of Gakon. In this old world, the player must navigate political scheming, dangerous factions, and the ravages of the Malachor Plague, all while fighting for freedom. The game offers an expansive open world with a strong focus on player choice, diplomacy, and combat.